Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently down 3.3% to 29,179. Ethereum is down 2.81% to 1955, a really good year. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. As we do each day, I've just done a quick run through the crypto market. Over time, this will be really valuable to you. You'll get a feeling as to what is going on market-wide. The key thing that we note, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Bitcoin is coming down, and we expect the alts to come down with it. It doesn't mean, for example, that some alts will buck the trend. They will absolutely, and we want to keep our eye open for those ones. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the Masterclass, our NFTs, and as tax approaches, please use tax software. I found this one is the best on the market. It also comes with a 20% discount, and you can always reach out to me at any stage and directly message me on Twitter. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. The sun will come out again, and there's always hope. To be really successful in crypto, crypto requires diamond hands, a diamond mind, and a diamond heart. People know all about diamond hands. That's where you hold on for dear life no matter what price is doing. And a diamond mind is all about as prices fall, you actually get in there. You're not running away with the rest of people. Why aren't you doing that? Because you like value. You want to get something at the cheapest price, and you are thinking from a smart money perspective. And you know that BORSOG is the way. BORSOG, buy on red, sell on green. That's rule 621. But what is a diamond heart? A diamond heart is having kindness, authenticity, gratitude and happiness, inner and outer peace, as well as money. There are a lot of people out there that just focus on money. They think that that will make them happy. It does for a time, but it doesn't long term. Other people want money because they want to get in control of their lives. They want to dominate and control other people. That just doesn't work. Nobody wants to be involved in slavery. Having a diamond heart actually is the whole entire focus of creating cooperation and win-win scenarios. It's bringing your best self to every day and everything that you do. And that's what positive excellence and maintaining these real wealth foundations is about. This is what we learn as crypto technical analysts, to have integrity and decency, kindness, gratitude and happiness. Why is integrity important? Because there's so many people out there that just want money and they'll do anything to get it, including a total loss of integrity. They'll say and do anything for money. That is not us. How that actually applies in practice is that we go independent from the market. We mark up our charts with exponential price action using the CTKS method, and we learn a lot of things. We do it ourselves. We do our own research. We look outside the market, outside the crypto market, into the stock market and indeed other markets, checking world events, collecting probabilities like a really, really good detective. Then we come back into the crypto market, understanding that opportunities reset daily. We want to find the market's focus and enhance our pattern recognition. And this is really, really vital for you to learn that skill. Real wealth, positive excellence is about being professional. But it's much, much more than that. There are a lot of professionals that cannot support their wealth because they haven't grown the positive excellence foundations to hold that wealth. People can have many, many subconscious toxic beliefs about money and the success that they deserve. Self-sabotage and self-doubt can absolutely decimate accounts, and this is why we need to have our act together psychologically before we buy or sell. And there are many ways to buy and sell in both bull markets and bear markets. In fact, we don't even subscribe to bull market and bear market theory. The concept of markets going in a specific direction is one that is fundamentally misleading. You can BORSOG and make money in any market. And that is because price moves in waves. Rule 219 is incredibly important. Be kind to yourself. The reason that we need to be kind to ourselves and forgive ourselves is because of learning. If you don't learn, you'll get the lesson repeated, but it will be repeated at higher and higher levels of pain. It's really important to be kind and to learn. Learning is the way. Learning will actually take you through the darkness. There's a flip side to this. We can't be kind to ourselves but be mean to other people. We need to be kind to ourselves and kind to others as well. Let's have a look from a crypto technical analyst perspective at outside trends. Knowing Rule 225, Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, but Masterclass students know that there's a lot more to this rule. We do very, very deep dives in the Masterclass. The first question should be, are we in a recession? If we were in a recession, we would be down here, for example, in contraction. Is that the case? No, we're up here in mid-stage, pushing towards expansion. Retail confidence is at an all-time low. But what about smart money confidence? It's getting really, really high. And what do we see when smart money confidence is getting high? It usually signifies a bottom, but that doesn't mean the price can't continue down. But if we're borsogging very happily along the way, we'll do really, really well. Some interesting news. US dollar index, the DXY, breaks down from exponential uptrend. About 18 days ago, we started talking about the DXY and its potential to come down. It did go up further, but when things get really, really overextended like this, we anticipate a pullback. And we've seen that so many times in gold, in oil, just about in everything. It's just part and parcel of the market. That's why we look at all of these key metrics every day, these key statistics, because you need to know. Most of the mainstream media will talk about it. You need to know what they're talking about. Let's have a look at the fear gauge of the S&P 500. We can see that the fear was definitely in the market in the last trading session. And what have we seen? There's been a rejection down. I would imagine that the VIX will start to come down. And what does that mean? What's the actual impact of this on the market and of course on Bitcoin and crypto? Remember, there's a lot of negative sentiment, bearish sentiment in the market at the moment. And we can see when the VIX spiked up, when the fear gauge spiked up, we had a big sell-off in the market. But what happened? All of that supply was bought up. This is a long tail rejection. What does that mean? There's a lot of buyers in the market at this particular level. We can see bond prices about time starting to normalize. And when we have a look at bond yields, they're starting to normalize as well. Gold is starting to pick up, and gold is in a long-term uptrend. So just keep your eye on gold. A lot of people do a flight to safety into gold when they think recessions are going to hit, when the markets are going to melt down. But if you do an in-depth analysis on what happens when gold actually hits a recession, it usually takes a hit as well. It's not quite as safe as a lot of people think it is. And I know this because I've traded gold for many years. But I have no exposure to the stock market at all anymore. I just adore crypto. I'm 100% in crypto. Okay, let's have a look at the put-call ratio. This gives us an indication if people are bearish or bullish. We can see the puts all coming up from an average perspective. That means that people are bearish. This is a counterintuitive indicator. When the puts get too high, we generally witness bottoms. I'm not saying we're at a bottom yet, but it's getting there. When we look at oil, we can see oil is moving in a wave, up and down, up and down, up and then down, and now up. Okay. It's really interesting on the news of the DXY's exponential move up. There's nothing really exponential about this. We're moving from 95 to 105. In crypto, that's a couple of hours. But in the stock market, it takes so much time for things to move. Of course, it is a big move for the dollar, absolutely. But we've seen big moves in gold. And I said when gold was going parabolic like this, please be careful. It's going to have a pretty significant pullback. And it did. And I said the same thing with oil. And it did. I've said the same thing with the DXY. And it started. We always get normalization. Let's have a look through the major markets, and we can see the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, all under pressure. Japan bucking the trend. Japan says, I don't think so, I'm going up. And what about Germany? Germany's with Japan, it's going up as well. What about the UK? It's joining Japan and Germany. Hey, why not? Even Russia's in on the party, and China is as well. If you want to be an excellent investor and an excellent trader, you need to keep your eye so wide on so much data. Just be like a really, really good detective. When we look at inflation expectations compared to Bitcoin, and we're a crypto channel, but we spend time inside the stock market and precious metals, we need to know what is going on. This is part of the trends section. And Masterclass students, you'll get this live chart in TM4. But what we can see, the 5-year and 10-year break-even inflation rates have come down. And it was 2.97, the 5-year. Yesterday, it's now 2.88. It's coming down. And the 10-year break-even inflation rate yesterday was 2.59. It's now 2.55. It's being hit. Inflation is being attacked. Looking at precious metals, we can see gold and silver on their way up, and we can see the inverse of the DXY, which typically gives a good gold and silver explanation, is also on its way up. For a deeper dive into this, please see TR23 for Masterclass students. And we're also seeing some really interesting stuff with inverse real rates. Inverse real rates, I like to say, give you a bit of a way of thinking. Do you need to be a mechanic to drive your car? Do you have to deconstruct and reconstruct your engine to drive? No, you don't. But what you need to do is know the fundamentals. Like, for example, what's the accelerator? What's the brake? How do I use the steering wheel? It's kind of like a lot like that when it comes to different charts. Look at inverse real rates. What do we see here? Inverse real rates came down. This was the COVID US liquidity crisis. What did they do? And then when they started to come up, what happened to the market? What happened to gold? What happened to Bitcoin? What happened to the Nasdaq? And sometimes we see real rates coming down, and there's a very good association with the Nasdaq and gold. What about here? When we see the real rates coming down and down, what are we actually seeing here? This could be a bottoming out period. It's really too early to tell, but if you want to learn more about inverse real rates and this chart in particular, LV11 is the way to go. I'd like to also let the Masterclass students know I've created 2 new sections in the Masterclass, LV00A, where you can share your charts, and LV00B, where you can share your tips on individual cryptos. That is the place to go if you would like to discuss that as a community. We're going to do some more in-depth analysis of sectors because I think it's really important to keep a finger on the pulse of what's happening. When we look at the 3-month, energy has come up 21.9%. Utilities have come up over 8%. Consumer staples nearly 3%. And when we look at all the rest of the sectors, they've all come down. Consumer discretionary being hit the worst, followed by financials. Just a pinpointed figure doesn't give you a lot of context, so I put the energy index up here, and what do we see? Energy is definitely in an uptrend. What about utilities? Utilities have sold back, finding a level of support here. Will they continue or will they break down? Please let me know in the comments what you think. And when we look at consumer staples had an absolute hit. What do you think caused that? This is what we do in our community every day. We discuss things on YouTube, and it's a very non-toxic place where people support each other based on a foundation of real wealth and positive excellence. Let's have a look at healthcare. Healthcare has basically been moving just about nowhere recently, since around the start or mid of October. What do you think healthcare could do from here? As a former lecturer in first and second year statistics, one thing I like to do is to get people to think about the answers to things. Yes, I could tell you all the answers, but that is not going to help you learn. What we do in the CTKS Masterclass and also within the CTKS community is we think deeply about things. We actually run the numbers and we look at the research, and it's a really important skill to have. Many people, when they join the market, they just say, I just want to know when to buy and when to sell. You can see that's the last thing that we do. If you don't have your attitude right, if you don't have a good relationship with money, if you can't fight self-doubt, you will find that you actually sabotage your trades. And we know all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. And it's not just about looking at the crypto market. There's so much you need to keep on your radar. That's why we spend time in outside trends. But the most important thing, you really must mark up your charts with the CTKS methodology. It will help you tremendously. We can see consumer discretionary is in a downtrend. Financials are in a downtrend. Information technology is going down, as well as industrials. What is this blue line here, you would say? Ken, what's that blue line? What's that? That is Bitcoin's price action, or as I like to call it, Bitcoin's fingerprint. You can see consumer discretionary following Bitcoin's fingerprint. What about this? Financials, information technology, industrials. But look at the difference with energy. Please let me know, how much different do you think Bitcoin's fingerprint is from the energy fingerprint? That's a really good thing to discuss as well. Looking at Q1 2022 earnings beat data, we can see 69% of companies that have reported have beaten their earnings. This is really good for the economy. And it's also really good for the stock market. Price is always moving in a wave. It's always going up and down. When things get too overextended, we have those crashes, if you like, but it's just normalization occurring. Let's turn to the crypto market, and Rule 45 is our guide. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Your beloved alt, its fate is tied to Bitcoin. A lot of people don't want to hear this. A lot of people say, but my altcoin is independent of Bitcoin. This is why crypto technical analysts scientifically track investor attention, which is measured by price. That is the only reality inside markets, not future promises. A lot of cryptos will do extremely well as Bitcoin goes positive, but when it goes negative, a lot of alts will bleed far, far more than Bitcoin. Let's have a rapid overview of Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin up to? Well, we need a lot of data points to answer that question. It's not really simple to answer. We can see it's been going flatline basically, been going nowhere. It's in a range-bound area. But what does this actually mean? When we look back to around the 12th of May, what did we see? A massive number of liquidations, both long and both short, and lots of volume on both the buy and the sell side. We can also see that open interest is above a resistance line now and supported as well. This is actually really positive for Bitcoin. I know out there's so many people doom and gloom. The end of the world is coming. But if you know how to BORSOG correctly, you will do very well. I've just changed it to the 4 hour so I can show you something important. When we have a massive push in optimism, that's witnessed by prices coming up. When we have massive fear in the market, it brings the price down. And we can see we've been under so much price negative pressure for a long time, about 8 weeks. And this is a really, really long time to be under that severe fear in the crypto market. We're waiting for price to move in a wave. And when people just get involved in financial markets, they just think the price will either go straight up or straight down. And it doesn't actually work that way. Price is always moving in a wave. It does it. And it's important to understand, if we've had a big wave down, we're going to get a wave up. Bitcoin is currently trading at 29,213 and the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is 13. Let's go and check out Bitcoin. What mischief has Bitcoin been up to? I'll just zoom in there. We can see for the last 8 days, Bitcoin has just been going flatline. It's been basically bouncing off the A level of support into the 1 level of resistance, trying to get above and bouncing back and going a little bit lower. And look at this. We're getting some rejections here of this 1 level. What would that tend to suggest to you? Please let me know in the comments. It's really good to discuss these things, and you'll see a vibrant community in the comments, and a very kind and caring one too. You've looked at a lot of data, and that is primarily because we must make 3 decisions at all times. We must make a decision. What are we going to do if price goes for us, goes against us, or goes nowhere? And price has been basically going nowhere for the past 8 days. Overlaying the NASDAQ 100 on top of Bitcoin, what do we actually see? The NASDAQ has been coming down. We saw a little bit of a kick up, but then it sold down, and Bitcoin is holding up remarkably well, because Bitcoin is a leading indicator of what the stock market may do. And this is really important to understand. The two are intercorrelated. Let's have a look at the shorts and the longs. The shorts are measured by this red line, and we can see the red line is going down. The longs measured by this green line, it's starting to curl over. This is really interesting. You can see over the past about day, a lot of shorts have been liquidated, a lot of longs have been liquidated, and just recently the price is coming up. Let me zoom in. So what we're actually seeing here, a lot of long liquidations, and the short liquidations are playing out, keeping the price between 1 and A. Which way do you think it is going to break? Do you think we'll travel above 1 or go below A? Please let me know in the comments. We can see in the past 24 hours there's been 628.84 million in liquidations across 63,329 positions. This is quite a lot of liquidations. And when we go and have a look at total liquidations across the past 24 hours, it's just what we said. The majority are long. What about the past 12 hours? Just about the same, nearly 90%. What about the past 4 hours? 55% short, which would actually explain that little bit of a kick up. What are we looking at in the past hour? About 64% long, getting liquidated. This is giving you a feeling for the market, and that feeling is really important. A lot of people just spend their time in one chart or a couple of charts. What you really need to do is look very broadly. It takes decades to get this perspective, but it's worth a fortune when you get it. Let's have a look here at liquidations. You can see the majority of liquidations definitely were long. Compared to yesterday, they were short. Previous day, they were majority long liquidations. You get an idea of looking at this chart, how things are actually playing out over time. There's something really interesting to note in this. When you can see a lot of long liquidations, and the majority of long liquidations push the price down, but this big spike in long liquidations, what has it done to price? Basically nothing. That's a good thing to discuss in the comments as well. Looking at futures open interest, we can see we got a bit of a kick up. There's more interest in the market, but please don't leverage trade until you are a professional. Professionals know what they're risking. They say, if I go into leverage trading, I know I could get liquidated in both directions, and they're cool with it. When people are just starting in crypto, then they don't understand that you can get wiped out even if you're hedging, which means you simultaneously go long and go short. This is crypto. This is the volatility of this market. Looking at Bitcoin options expiring at the end of the month, we can see the max pain price is 34,000. There's a lot of bearish bets and a lot of bullish bets in on the market, down to 20,000 and up to 80,000. And we can see the max pain price is 34,000, which is considerably above the current price of 29,216. If we're seeking to find the market's focus, we understand that the majority of the top 20 cryptos are underwater. AVAX is the most hard hit, being down nearly 50%, nearly 47%, SHIB 42%, Solana nearly 40%, Matic nearly 40%. Now this is what would perplex a lot of people. Being down a lot actually isn't a bad thing. In fact, it can be very, very profitable. For example, the 10-5-10 rule. If you buy something at $10 and it goes down to $5, you just lost 50%. But if it goes from $5 back up to $10, you just made 100%. That's getting on the right side of the percentage. And I know many people are out of dry powder, but it's very, very interesting. If you're getting close to tax time and you have a lot of unrealized gains or realized gains and unrealized losses, you can convert those losses to offset your gains. You definitely want to be doing that. You don't want to pay tax on realized gains, but your account is down by 50%. That's why I recommend this tax software. I've used just about every tax software out there, and I found this one to be excellent. And you also get 20% off by using that link. We need to know where things can go. And one thing that we actually see from the markets, across the markets, the inflation narrative is weakening, and inflation was causing the Fed to say, we're going to have to stop any kind of stimulus inside the market because inflation is getting out of control. You can see that's not what is happening with inflation. Inflation is coming down. That's a really good sign. We're also starting to see bond prices and bond yields normalizing, the DXY backing off, gold going forward. The markets are starting to regain some sort of composure. If you don't look broadly, you just won't know these things. One thing also, we're entering the weekend. We're just inside the weekend at the moment, and weekend trading can be lower volume. That means on the weekends things can move around a lot. What could happen across the weekend? If we look to the previous weekend, price was coming down, pretty flat line, but coming down. Price is pretty flat line, but coming down. What do we see here? A bit of negative price action in Saturday, but a recovery in Sunday and on Monday. Bit of wobbling, but up. So we could see something like that playing out. What about this particular area? We saw price coming down, but basically flat line. A little bit of wobbling across the market, across the weekend, and it kind of didn't do too much, but when Monday came around, it actually rallied up until Thursday. This can give you a bit of an understanding as to what may happen. I would suggest you look deeply into the weekends. The question on everybody's lips, where could the price collapse down to if it does? Because we're all risk averse, so we need to know the answer to that question. You'll notice this really solid line here at C. It was 25,307.16 in yesterday's episode. What is it now? To answer that question, we need to go into the KS model and look at the indicator. Just observe that red line there, that red number. What is it now? 25,162.76. And what we actually see, this red line is particularly good at capturing price. It is a very, very good fair value line. If you pick up anything, any cryptos, especially Bitcoin, at or below this line, it's absolute bonanza time. It's a good thing to do. And sometimes price can come below that line. It can decay below that line, but it's generally a very, very safe place to be. Where do we think price won't go below? We don't think it will go below 19,666. Why? That's the previous peak of the past cycle. We've never had market action that's violated that previous high. Does that mean that it's mathematically protected and it will not crack? Not necessarily, and there's a reason for that. We've had 5 black swans in the market and it suppressed price like this. So if we were to take this price action, just literally copy it and overlay it at the right time back one cycle, we would see this, no blow off top. Now what does that actually mean? Remember back to the DXY, that blow off top, if you like. What about gold, that exponential price movement upwards? Oil. Remember what happens when things get overextended, they dramatically correct. We've had no overextension here. It's like literally flatline. What does that mean for Bitcoin and crypto? Well, it may mean that we're witnessing around the bottom in between the current price and down towards the peak. If not, this particular red line at 25,162.95. And you have to know that this red line is always changing. This is a real-time model. You can see it's always changing, that particular number. So what do we actually know? The markets have been subjected to so many black swans, ranging from the China miner exodus to Evergrande, weakness in the Chinese property market, the Russia-Ukraine war, so many things, Fed tightening, you name it. We've got lunar collapse, inflation, everything. Maybe the best way to look at it, everything was thrown at crypto, and what did it do? It just said, okay, I'll just chill for a while. But the thing to bear in mind is crypto is on an upward path. And why do I say that? Because crypto is the ownership layer of the next generation of the internet, and we're really, really early in terms of adoption of users. Also, our S-curve is way, way, way down here. It hasn't even taken off. And crypto is a tiny industry compared to the stock market and the bond market. We've got a long, long way to go in crypto. Masterclass students, you'll get the KS model combined with this indicator in TM2. So now we've updated that particular level, the KS model bottom indicator level, and we can see that particular price is a little ways down. Actually, it's about 13.5% away from the current price. The other thing I would suggest you keep your eye on, if price manages to get past this particular level around 39,850, that is very, very positive, but we want to trade around 42,000 and maintain that. We don't want it to just spike up and collapse down. We need to get over this resistance. If we get over that particular resistance, we're starting to trade above 42. The party is back on. All of these levels were formed through confluence levels analysis in the CTKS method. So we've seen the top 20 cryptos are pretty much underwater, but what about the top 100? What's sticking out there? What's made a gain over the past 7 days? MTL up 24.31%, KDA about 12.6%, Carver little over 12%, FTM, Phantom, nearly 10%, DCR, Decred, a little bit over 9%, CVC about 6.7%, Aave 5.6%, and you can see a lot of other ones there. This is why we need to look extensively through the market. Opportunities reset every day. Looking at total value locked in DeFi, we've got about 109.11 billion. When looking at the total value locked on all chains, Tron is registering positive increases from the 1 day to the 7 day to the 1 month. The only other one that's doing that is way down here, which is Everscale, which might be a little bit too far away. At times like this, you're better off with the top projects. You want to look for the billions, not the millions. Looking into the top cryptos, we can see Bitcoin is under resistance, but it's also above support. We may get sort of wavy behavior. Let's just see how that goes. What we're doing here is we want to see Bitcoin's fingerprint. We want to see, for example, this blue line, that's Bitcoin's fingerprint. You can see it over all of these charts. And we need to see how, for example, Ethereum is actually interacting with Bitcoin's gravity. And you can see it's following it very, very closely. This is on a 30-minute chart. Binance Coin is also following the directional bias, but it's looking a lot better. What about XRP? XRP is following Bitcoin's gravity, but it's got a little bit more strength to it. Cardano, ADA, doing the same. What about Solana? Absolutely doing the same. What about Doge? Doing the same. What about DOT? Also following Bitcoin's gravity. What you will find in steep sell-offs, all the alts come back into alignment with Bitcoin, and that typically creates a reset. From the look of these 8 cryptos, which would you pick out as being the strongest? Please have a discussion about that in the comments. A lot of people don't realize how important Bitcoin is to their beloved alt. I'll take you through some community favorites. We can see Near obeying Bitcoin's gravity. Matic. When Matic was coming down, what was pulling it down? It was Bitcoin. What's consolidating Matic? It's Bitcoin. I always say, if you wanted to know what happened to your beloved alt, look at Bitcoin. What about Icon? Same as Matic. What about Veracity? Same as Matic. It's Bitcoin doing it. Rose, same again. Rune, same again. IOTA, same again. But it's looking a bit stronger. Well done, IOTA. IOST, Bitcoin again. Does Bitcoin's gravity actually influence the metaverse? We can say, yes, it does with Sand. What about Axie? Yep, it does. Mana, yes, but look at this. There's a lot of over strength, and this is what you will find happens from time to time. When this happens, we want to look at those projects. Mana is exhibiting strength. What about Gala? Exhibiting strength. Not following it like Axie, not following it like Sand, above it. Very interesting. We want to know about this. What about Engine Coin? Showing strength. Ape, showing strength. But it's following the ups and the downs, the ups and the downs. Please keep that in mind. It's really, really important. What about Chili's? Following it, but wanting to blow up. Blow up in a good way. Wanting to go up. What about SLP? You can see it following Bitcoin's gravity. Let's have a look at some more community favorites. Theta following Bitcoin's gravity, T-Fuel doing the same, SHIB doing the same, EGLD doing the same, Phantom doing the same, CHR showing a little bit more strength, Loopring showing a bit more strength as well, Cosmos following. What about some more community favorites? What about Stellar following Bitcoin's gravity but showing a little bit more power there, CRV showing weakness but following, but showing weakness recently from about the 19th of May. What about Anchor? Anchor following, but with strength. What about Arweave following with strength as well? What about Zilliqa following pretty much spot on? Uni following, but with strength. What about FTX token? Had a bit of strength, lost it, but it's still following, but it's coming down. It's showing a degree of weakness. This is why it's so valuable to look at Bitcoin's gravity across so many different cryptos. Your crypto may not be here, but if you know what is happening, you'll look at your crypto with new eyes, new profitable eyes. What about Tron? Tron following as well. Getting on the right side of the percentage is really, really important. When you think about Bitcoin, what is the percentage to the all-time high? Well, it's 50%, 57.8% below from the all-time high. So it's 57.8 down. But when it comes back up, it will come back up 136.8%. Will this happen? Absolutely. Absolutely it will happen. When will it happen? That's the question everybody wants the answer to. The answer is we don't know when it will happen. It will happen when the price supports it, when the price goes into the uptrend. And we have to always make our three-way decisions. A lot of people approach the crypto market kind of like a lottery. I'm going to put my hard-earned money down and I just want it to profit. And this is really hard lesson to learn. We all start there. We work so hard for our money. We go into the market and we put it down and say, I'm not really quite sure what I'm doing. I've looked at a couple of things. I've looked at some influencers. They've said it's really good. I'm going all in and more. And what happens? It goes in the opposite direction. That is what happens to everybody when they enter the market. As crypto technical analysts, we get out of the panic zone and the blame zone. We don't care about certainty. We care about probability. We're not like a light switch. We don't go all in and more. We're like a dimmer. We come on slowly. We go out slowly. And we know that it's all about patience and rules. It's all about learning, three-way decisions, understanding percentages, patience, rules, the CTKS method for marking up the charts, the 10-5-10 volatility fund. You must make volatility your best friend. But even this is not enough. Without the mastery of fear and having worthiness and meaning in our lives, we could suffer the fate of Jesse Livermore, who very tragically died because he didn't feel like he had meaning in his life. He took his own life. You don't have to have money to have meaning and worthiness. There's a big difference between riches and wealth. You can have wealth right now if you just know how to do it. And the path to wealth is positive excellence, giving your all, your best, even when you don't want to, even when it's inconvenient. And frankly, people wouldn't expect you to. That's the time that you must step up with persistence and commitment, generosity and selflessness. All of these things, gratitude and happiness. There's so many wonderful things that happen each and every day. Often we're blind to it because we're not looking at it. And having a kind, authentic attitude, not being fake kind, but being actual kind, is really important. A lot of people think that kindness is some form of weakness. It's not. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be kind in an unkind world. Kind people have strong boundaries. If they're crossed, the gates will slam shut. And the most important way to gain wealth is to have inner peace and outer peace. Always remember that life resets daily. Life wants you to succeed. It's waiting for you to succeed. And often how we do that is to burn the stories of the past that no longer serve us. Diamond hands holding on for dear life, a diamond mind BORSOGing, but a diamond heart is the greatest diamond of them all. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and you can get 20% off by using that link, and the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. And you can also get 80% off by reaching out to an ambassador. Of course, you can also directly message me on Twitter at any time. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.